Buckle up, music fans, because this deep dive is taking us straight to the heart of the Blues Brothers.
We're talking car chases, we're talking soul, we're talking the journey from those crazy SNL days to movie magic.
You asked us to dig into how this iconic film came to be.
And we're going to get into all the nitty-gritty from Belushi's unexpected love for the blues.
Which, let's be honest, starting with King B, kind of wild.
Right. And not exactly Jake Blues.
No harp, no shades.
But that's what's so cool about it, you know? Wasn't some straight line. He found this music.
Dove in head first.
Exactly, like his character, man. Speaking of diving in, got to talk about Curtis Salgado.
Oh, man. Huge influence on Belushi, the story goes. Belushi sees Salgado playing live, right? Sends someone over mid-song.
Mid-set.
To basically be like, yo, you're killing it. We got to work together.
And Salgado, this is classic, just looks at him and goes, I'm singing. Fuck off.
No time for fanboys. Haha. But seriously, that's how Belushi was introduced to the newsman who'd become his mentor.
Shows you Belushi's drive, right? That directness, it didn't deter him, it drew him in.
And that's where Aykroyd slides in. These two weren't just weekend update buddies.
Shared that blues love, man, deeply.
And get this, Aykroyd opens a blues bar in New York.
Imagine that scene, these comedy legends just jam and finding their sound.
Their band was literally born in a bar. They even had Howard Shore.
Wait, the Howard Shore, future Lord of the Rings composer.
Yep. He suggested the name the Blues Brothers. It was about respect, paying homage.
And they didn't just keep it in the bar. Took that energy at SNL, warmed up the crowd with it, testing the waters.
And the crowd went wild. They landed a record deal, brought in legends for the band.
Steve Cropper, Donald Duck, done the backbone of Booker T and the MGs.
Imagine getting that call, hey, it's Jake Blues.
Cropper thought it was a prank. These guys played with soul royalty.
The whole thing. It's surreal, but they dove in, brought that signature sound.
And that's what set them apart. Not just funny guys playing dress up.
They were good. So good, they replaced Stairway to Heaven on their set list with Soul Man.
Power move. Aykroyd joked about wanting to do a blues Stairway for the movie. Dunn shut it down immediately.
Lost opportunity. But back to Soul Man. It became their HIT, and it all started with...
Proper. Suggested changing the key, made it their own.
See, that's collaboration. But
Yeah.
then the movie. It all started with Aykroyd, a typewriter, and enough paper to have...
Blanket Chicago. We're talking 324 pages, his first draft. Credited it to Scriptotron GL 9000.
No way. He actually...
Dead serious.
Got-
That's our Dan. Big ideas. And they got John Landis to direct.
Fresh off Animal House, talk about comedic chaos.
Even Landis took weeks to wrangle that script into shape, but that editing, man, it's in those details, you know, where the true genius comes out.
And then the supporting cast. They went after icons.
Aretha, James Brown, Ray Charles. The studio, though, they wanted, let's say, hotter names.
I read they suggested Rolls Royce.
Car Wash with the Blues Brothers.
It'd be a very different movie.
Thank God they fought for those legends. It wasn't about names. It was about respect, showcasing talent.
And they won. Imagine the Blues Brothers without Aretha belting out Think or Ray Charles.
Those musical moments, they're the soul of the movie, man. Not just cameos. Vital.
Speaking of vital, those car chases.
Aykroyd and Landis, they did not mess around.
Wrecked how many police cars? Dozens.
And they filmed on location, all over Chicago. Wrigley Field, that bridge. Even crashed through the Daily Center.
Okay, but that's a whole other story. The chaos of filming in Chicago with Belushi in the 70s, talking about chaos, right? Filming on location, downtown Chicago, John Belushi, late 70s, recipe for mayhem.
Oh, yeah. Organized chaos. And remember how Aykroyd was meticulous with the script? Belushi. Meticulous about his leisure activities?
Let's just say those stories from the set are legendary. Disappearing acts, jam sessions in random apartments.
The man was a force of nature.
But seriously, how'd they get anything filmed?
It was a constant balancing act. Landis, bless him, trying to wrangle everyone, keep things moving, and that budget. Forget about it.
There were rumors of an on-set bar, right? Just to keep the party going.
Where the lines blurred between action and, well, action.
But that's all part of the legend, right? Though Belushi's fun did cause some hiccups.
Hiccups. Try full-blown production delays. Studio wasn't thrilled, especially with the car chases, the cameos. This wasn't a small film.
Speaking of those car chases, shutting down Chicago, wrecking all those cars?
Logistical nightmare. They bought dozens of police cars, dirt cheap, most totaled by the end. That Daily Center crash. Months to rig that car.
Talk about commitment.
Yeah.
And filming permits, not easy in downtown Chicago. They had to get special permission just to film on Sundays during the summer.
And even then, cordoning off blocks, rerouting traffic, that massive scene with the police, National Guard, tanks, even a helicopter. Bank breaker.
They replaced the Daily Center glass with breakaway panes. Because, you know, driving through it.
Even with all that, there were still accidents.
Yeah.
Things you just can't plan for. The things they did. Incredible. But here's the thing. Amidst all that chaos, on screen, off screen, they made something special.
So they've got this love letter to Chicago set to a bluesy beat, but it wasn't a hit right away.
Not initially, no. Remember those nervous studio execs? Their fear seemed justified at first. Limited release. Some theaters wouldn't even book it.
Oh, yeah.
Ted Mann ran a huge theater chain, refused to show it in white neighborhoods.
Wow.
Tough crowd. And those early reviews, rough. Called the plot thin, said it relied too much on the car chases.
Ouch. Sounded like the Blues Brothers might be DOA.
It could have been.
Okay.
But then the audience found it.
And the rest is history. Word of mouth. People loved it. The music, the over-the-top comedy, the pure joy of it became a cult classic.
Defying expectations. Proof that sometimes the audience knows what it wants, even if the critics don't.
It's that connection, man. People felt that energy, that authenticity.
And it wasn't just box office. Cultural impact. Introduced a new generation to the blues, to those legends.
Revived careers. Those musicians weren't exactly chart toppers at the time. The Blues Brothers reminded everyone how great they were.
Proof that good music, it finds a way. And sadly, it reminds us of what we lost when Belushi passed.
Way too young. Hard to imagine the film without him, that manic energy.
They made a sequel, tried to recapture it, but lightning in a bottle, you know.
The original, it's timeless. Friendship, passion, taking risks, embracing the crazy.
And hey, sometimes missions from God come in the most unexpected forms.
It's kind of crazy, right? A movie about two guys in suits on a mission from God to play some blues. And it still resonates all these years later.
It's got layers, man. The humor, the music, the car chases.
Yeah.
But there's something deeper there, something everyone connects with.
That passion, you know? Staying true to yourself, not giving up, even if you got to bend the rules a little.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And music bringing people together. Doesn't matter if you're a blues expert or here in Aretha for the first time. Pulls you in, makes you want to move.
And the quotability. You can drop a, "We're on a mission from God" anywhere.
Instant recognition. Those lines are part of our culture now.
And I think that's because the humor's balanced with heart. We laugh at the absurdity, but we're rooting for him, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Against all odds. Decades later, that's why we keep coming back. Second chances, redemption, the power of music. It's all there.
And talk about cult status. Those audience participation screenings, people dressing up as Jake and Elwood, singing along.
It's more than a movie, it's an event. People connect with it so strongly, they got to become part of it.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, got me thinking, music today. Who needs that Blues Brothers magic? Who deserves a resurgence?
That's the thing about this film. It makes you think bigger. About the power of music, the artists who move us. Maybe there's a new Landis, a new Aykroyd out there ready to showcase the next generation.
Now that would be something. So until next time, keep digging those old records, keep finding new music.
And remember,
We're on a mission from God. Cheers.